If you follow Bengali DNA, it doesn't move in straight lines. It doesn't flow neatly north like Indo-Aryan history suggests. It doesn't stay south like much of peninsular India. And it doesn't stop at India's borders. Instead, it spreads outward, east, southeast, and back again. For decades, scientists believed South Asian genetics followed clear rules. Rules shaped by migration maps, language families, and ancient texts. But when Bengali DNA was analyzed in detail, those rules quietly fell apart. Because Bengali genetics doesn't behave like it belongs to one region. It behaves like it belongs to many. And that makes Bengal one of the most important and misunderstood genetic crossroads in all of Asia. To understand why Bengali DNA is so strange, we need to understand what scientists expected to see. Most South Asian populations follow a general genetic pattern. An ancient base of early hunter-gatherers who arrived more than 50,000 years ago. Later mixed with agricultural populations related to ancient Iranian farmers. And finally shaped by Indo-Aryan migrations, entering from the northwest around 4,000 years ago. This model explains much of India remarkably well. But Bengal didn't follow it cleanly. When geneticists plotted Bengali samples on ancestry charts, they didn't cluster where they were supposed to. Instead of aligning tightly with other Indo-Aryan groups, Bengalis appeared shifted, pulled eastward, pulled outward, as if another history had been quietly written into their genes. That history begins with geography. Bengal sits on the Ganges, Brahmaputra, Meghna Delta, the largest river delta on Earth. This land is constantly being created and destroyed, flooded, rebuilt, reclaimed. For ancient humans, this was not a boundary. It was an invitation. Rivers connected Bengal to the Himalayas, to eastern India, to Myanmar, and deep into Southeast Asia. People didn't just pass through Bengal. They stayed. They mixed. They adapted. And over thousands of years, their DNA accumulated. At its foundation, Bengali DNA contains some of the oldest ancestry in Asia. These were the first modern humans to enter the subcontinent. Hunter-gatherers who survived monsoons, jungles, and disease. This ancestry exists across South Asia. But in Bengal, it interacted with something unusual. Instead of being replaced or isolated, it was repeatedly joined by new populations. That's where Bengal diverges. Because while much of South Asia experienced long periods of stability, Bengal experienced constant contact. Geneticists eventually noticed something striking. Bengalis carry significant ancestry, linked to East and Southeast Asian populations. Not as a minor trace, but as a meaningful component. This ancestry is associated with Austroasiatic-speaking peoples, Tibeto-Burman migrations, ancient populations moving westward from Southeast Asia. These migrations are older than recorded history. They left no empires, no kings, no inscriptions. But they left genes. And in some genetic studies, Bengalis appear closer to Southeast Asian populations than to northern Indians. This shocked researchers, because history had told a different story. Today, Bengali is an Indo-Aryan language. But language is deceptive. Languages can spread through culture, power, and prestige, without replacing populations. When Indo-Aryan culture reached Bengal, it didn't erase earlier peoples. It absorbed them. Ancient Eastern communities adopted new languages, new identities, new traditions, while remaining genetically present. This is why DNA is so powerful. It reveals what history cannot see. Empires fall. Scripts disappear. But genes endure. Over millennia, Bengal became something rare. A genetic funnel. Migration didn't happen once. It happened again, and again, and again. Floods displaced communities. Agriculture expanded rice cultivation. Trade routes connected distant regions. Each wave layered itself onto the last. Instead of one ancestry replacing another, Bengal stacked histories on top of each other. Like sediment carried by rivers. Pressed into human DNA. This layered history creates a problem. Bengalis show high genetic diversity. Strong regional variation. Smooth gradients instead of sharp boundaries. There is no single Bengali genetic profile. Bengali DNA doesn't sit comfortably inside categories like North Indian, East Asian, South Asian. It overlaps all of them. That's why Bengali populations often appear out of place in genetic datasets. Not because they are anomalies, but because the map itself is incomplete. Bengal forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth. Human history is not clean. There are no pure populations. No fixed identities. Bengali genetics shows us that mixing is not an exception. It is the default state of humanity. If Bengal exists as a crossroads of DNA, then many other regions we think we understand may also hide complex, forgotten histories. Bengal is not unique because it mixed. It's unique because it never stopped. Even now, many questions remain unanswered. Exactly when did Eastern migrations peak? Which ancient populations vanished completely? How many histories survive only in DNA? As ancient DNA technology improves, these answers may finally emerge. And when they do, Bengal will be central to rewriting Asian prehistory. Bengali DNA doesn't break the rules of genetics. It reveals that the rules were never complete. If you want to understand humanity, don't look for purity. Look for crossroads. Because that's where the real story lives. Like, subscribe, and join us as we uncover the hidden histories written inside human DNA.